Hi, thank you for joining us on another episode of Car to Car. I'm Ramon.
And hi, I'm Dana, and today we will look at a police case out of Fort Worth where they were chasing a stolen vehicle which ended in a police shooting. So we will look at the video and we'll come back to discuss.
Southbound Battalion, felony yielding rock, reckless. From Carjacking. Southbound on Ranford Highway. Yeah, anything other than Demo?
Southbound Ranford Highway. 630, we have one felony yield. Southbound Jacksboro approaching line. Gonna get on to the quick trip. 0213 to 0210. Are you clear? Just confirming I'm authorized to continue pursuing. And 4 is doubling back to Jacksboro, continuing southbound. He's now going northeast on Ephraim, reckless driving on Neal.
Your incident has been updated.
Still northeast on Ephraim, lane number 2. We are passing Hazel Avenue, turning on Hazel Avenue to go westbound. Westbound Hazel Avenue.
Your incident has been updated.
We're approaching Hazel and Long. We're currently going west on Hazel Avenue, coming up to Long. Crossing over Long Avenue right now, continuing northwest on Hazel Avenue.
Your incident has been updated.
Everyone, are y'all able to see inside that vehicle? It looks like, I don't know if he's holding on to some firearm.
Your incident has been updated.
Drop the guy! Drop the guy! Drop the gun now! Drop it! Drop it! Drop the guy! Do not let him get towards you!
He is taking a car at gunpoint.
Drop the guy! Drop it! Drop the guy!
All traffic, shots fired. We have one gun.
Drop it! Drop it! Drop the guy! Do not let him get towards you!
See, shots fired. Subject is down. Subject is down.
After seeing the video, I saw some good things and some bad things. I didn't like initially that when the police officer tried to ram the vehicle head on, that they didn't commit. If you're going to do it, you might as well just do it, because you wind up getting in the way and stopping the officer from being able to fully chase. I mean, we could have stopped the chase right there. But as we go on, I thought the chase went really well. You saw they had the helicopter up. Before too long, the officer asked the supervisor, "Hey, Sarge, can I continue to chase?" Sarge gave approval. I thought that was perfect. And that's what you want to see in these incidents. Hey, listen, you know, um, everybody knows what time of day it is. Everybody knows the traffic's busy. Do I still have the authority to chase this vehicle? And that's where supervisors come in. That's why we get paid the big bucks. So the chase continued. You saw them chase for an extended period of time, making sure that you know they adhered to as much traffic protocol as possible, followed really well, lights and sirens, and then it came to a point where the suspect crashes into a gas station area and jumps out and carjacks someone else. I thought that they did a really good job of positioning their cars for the felony stop, and then that's where I had some of the problems where, I know this gentleman had a suspect had a gun, had a shotgun or a rifle in his hand, and he ran towards a car where there was somebody there. That person left in order to not be taken in whatever was going on with this guy with the gun, because they were new to whatever was going on. I didn't like the fact that they just started to shoot at the suspect into that car, because someone could have been inside that car on the other side and gotten hurt. And they discharged a lot of rounds. And I'm looking at the backstop, which was some businesses on the other side. Next to them was the street. Next to them was the convenience store, gas station area where people were obviously inside because there was cars everywhere. And then you had something that was extremely dangerous. You had a gas pump. So I thought that indiscriminate shooting was bad. I think the felony stop was good. And sometimes, like I always say, you got to take a step back and be patient, talk this person out of the car. Even if you got to have another chase, I think that sometimes you truly have to understand the totality of everything that's going on and if that's the best place for the stop. And then the suspect gets out with a rifle to his head, and they just started shooting again. And so I thought that shooting was a bad shooting, because they could have repositioned their cars. They could have waited a little while longer to try to talk the suspect down. You heard them talking about some tactics, and then they just continued to shoot until the suspect hit the ground. And while he was on the ground, they continued to shoot. That somebody had to tell him, stop shooting, stop shooting. So, I thought, like I said, I thought there was some good and there was some bad. And that's what I got.
Well, I would suggest, because some of my concerns early on was just that it was what the officers know at the time the chase starts is what we base our decisions on, whether to chase or not to chase. So what we had initially was a stolen car only. I didn't hear anything about a robbery, a homicide, or any forcible felony. So our policy in the city of Miami used to be you had to chase for a forcible felony. I do not know what their policy is, but possibly they can chase for this, because they did. They spent about 17 minutes chasing before the final confrontation at the gas station. That's a long time for a chase, especially during broad daylight when traffic is heavy. The vehicle ran over sidewalks, almost had several accidents, ran red lights, went through the neighborhoods because it started in a residential area. That's at one point it cut through a gas station as well. That's a lot of danger. It's just by the grace of God that no one was injured. And what you know at the time you're chasing is just a stolen vehicle. Is the juice worth the squeeze? You have to definitely weigh that. So maybe a policy review can see if you want to do that. If that's you want to keep chasing for just a stolen vehicle in your policy. I would suggest not, because this could have went south early on before the final confrontation. And as you mentioned, once they get to the final confrontation at the gas station and they conduct the felony stop, as soon as the suspect gets into the vehicle, closes the door, and starts shooting. Dangerous, as you said, for all the reasons you stated. So I'm going to recap all of those reasons because I share those same concerns. But I would definitely review the chase policy because I think it needs to be addressed. I don't think you should be chasing for just a stolen vehicle, and definitely some training about shooting the threat, because the gentleman was a threat to himself. He had the shotgun to his head and he was walking away from them, and they shot him. Multiple officers shot him, and I didn't see where multiple officers were threatened for their lives. So definitely some things that need to be cleaned up.
I agree. And you said earlier, forcible felony, that's armed robbery, you know, homicide, carjacking, things of that nature. Yes. So, you know, tactics wise, like I said, I saw some good tactics and some bad tactics. You know, I think they have to make sure, in fact, they know what their policy is to let them, so that way they'll understand when they can shoot, when they can't shoot. And like we said before on previous videos, where there is a window of opportunity for you to discharge your weapon, and then there's a window for you not to discharge your weapon. I thought that once the suspect came out of the truck with the rifle to his head, you know, that was a reposition of the vehicle. Because the longer you try to shoot downrange with a handgun, the less accurate you can become. And so you saw them just shooting. And so initially the person didn't get hit. You know, you had the helicopter up who could advise if this person went somewhere, barricaded himself. And I know that we don't want that to happen. But unfortunately, sometimes that's the best thing to happen in order to save people. And I know people may disagree with it, but I'd rather take a barricaded subject and we have to talk them out, bring SWAT and things of that nature, as opposed to me shooting a weapon downrange where the backstop is a business on the other side, and there's on either side of me, there's either traffic or there's a gas station or there's a convenience store with people in it. So I thought that those tactics were bad, and so those are some things that need to be revisited, and they have to talk about it. You know, as police officers, we have to train with one another, and you know, I say all the time that, you know, our department did a really good job of training, and we go through these scenarios. You know, these shoot, don't shoot, positioning the cars, what happens when somebody gets in a car, gets out of the car with a gun. Our department, I just got to believe, is second to none with the training that we've had, because I think we would have done slightly better. And this is no criticism on their police department, because they're a large sheriff's office as well. But I just thought that, you know, sometimes you gotta take a step back, and they did a good job of communicating. They should have did a little bit better job of trying to keep each other calm in order to not shoot all of those rounds downrange. Because I heard someone say, and correct me if I'm wrong, don't let him get to, and they started shooting. And I guess that means don't let him get away. But, you know, I thought that was one of the poor communications.
Well, I think they just have to revisit what's a threat to themselves or to others. I mean, at the point where, you know, he got into the car, obviously he's a threat to someone, but you don't know who's in the car, so you want to make sure you don't hit an innocent bystander if your goal is to save the person, that victim in that car. So you don't want to indiscriminately shoot into tinted windows. You can't see your target, so you don't want to do that. And then when a person has a gun to their head and they're walking away, you don't necessarily want to shoot them in the back as well. So I think it's just what's a shoot, not shoot training, what's the threat, that type of thing. A little CIT when you want to talk to someone who has some mental issues and you want to talk them down. So some other training could help to remedy that situation.
I agree. And, you know, not only do we want to make sure that we're safe and the community's safe, but we want to limit whatever liability comes from our actions as well. So we just have to make sure we take everything into account. You know, in this job, that was a very intense situation. It was dynamic. And so, you know, sometimes we can get into ourselves can be excited with this, and that's where training comes in, practicing the shoot, don't shoot scenarios, and just and talking through this. You know, after it's over, you have to talk through this, even though it's going to go to internal affairs and the shooting board and things of that nature, and you're not supposed to talk at that point. But once this is done, I hope that they have what we have, and it's a shooting review board where all of the good and bad comes out, and training looks at it. You know, the department looks at it, homicide. You know, everybody looks at it to see what we could have done better, and then we make recommendations. And so this situation deserves one of those situations where recommendations are made and communications are made. And like I said, I think we do a really good job at the city where we were able to come back and training. We have the classroom part of training, and then we had the road part of training where, you know, we talk about shoot, don't shoot scenarios, and then we actually go act it out. So I think that, you know, everybody should be doing stuff like that.
Yes. So that's all I have. Do you have anything else?
That's it.
So with that, thank you for watching another episode of Car to Car Podcast. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe and comment. Until next time.